What's your worst kitchen injury?
I've been out of the industry for over 10 years now, but worked as a line cook at a chain for a few years and luckily managed to avoid anything major, besides some burns here and there. But today, after freshly sharpening my knife, I got sloppy and almost cleanly severed the tip of my finger while slicing some scallions. It's still hanging on with a lil flap of skin like a tiny hat, but it got me thinking about some near misses and minor injuries I've witnessed during my time on the line. If you like what you see here, subscribe and comment below if you have your own nightmares to share.
This one is from the Phoenix, US. Yep, I did the exact same thing, oyster shucking. Funny thing is, I almost always wore the chain glove to shuck, but it was the end of the night, I'm breaking down the oyster bar, and this guy who had been a regular all night came and asked me for just one more. I had already threw my glove in the dish bin to be washed, but I figured why not, I can get this last one no problem. Ended up being a tough bitch, and the knife slipped and went into that palm thumb meat. Me and the guy just kind of looked at each other with the knife sticking out of my hand, and I just went, "Yeah, sorry, excuse me," and went to the back kitchen to bandage myself up. Asked my sous chef to take care of the guy, but he had left with a story rather than an oyster. This video is brought to you by FaithfulSupply.com, your go-to for bulk takeout supplies including disposable cutlery, napkins, food trays, and more. Check the notes below for 20% off your first order.
This one's pretty dark, so viewer beware. While we don't like to make light of anyone's injury, this is an important one to raise up for purposes of safety. Don't do dumb stuff around hot oil.
Had a newbie utility guy put a sheet pan on a hot fryer and stand on it trying to clean the hood. It collapsed and he went in the fryer up to his knees. Had to pull him out and administer the best first aid that I could while waiting on the ambulance to get there. He suffered third-degree burns on both legs, was in the hospital for 4 months, multiple reconstructive surgeries, physical therapy, and 2 years rehab. Was kinda a miracle that he was able to keep his legs and eventually walk again with a walker. It was simply the worst thing I ever saw. This was 30+ years ago, and I can still hear his screaming and crying in agony to this day. I ended up having to go to therapy also, caused some serious emotional trauma and PTSD for me. He eventually recovered but is partially disabled.
Former deli worker here. I was breaking down and cleaning the slicers after closing one night. Got all 3 of them washed, rinsed, and sanitized. Was wiping the sanitizer off of the final slicer. Wasn't paying attention. Thought I had the bottom blade guard reattached. Reached around the bottom to finish drying off the edge and felt my fingers slip upwards. No pain, just the weirdest sensation of resistive pressure. And then the soft sound of wet meat hitting the catch plate. Folks, I managed to slice the pads of 3 of my fingers clean off. Went out back, wrapped my fingers in a shitload of paper towels, triple gloved, and went back to it. I was actually more pissed that I had to break down and completely redo that final slicer. By the time I was done, those gloves were full of blood. In typical early 2000s restaurant fashion, I didn't have insurance. Never went to the doctor, never reported the injury to anyone. I went home and babied the fuck out of my fingers. Worked out well, though. Everything ended up growing back. Aside from some thin scars across all 3 fingers and a partial loss of tactile sensation, I'm totally fine.